Personalify, consisting of Amanda, Yuki, Vernon, and Jennifer. This is our agenda for today, and I'll be starting off with the project overview. Firstly, I'll talk about the pain points of our targeted user group. Our targeted user group are young adults who fall in the age group of 18 to 30 years old. We identified them as our target user group as not only are they the bulk of Spotify users, which are users below the age of 35, but they are the self-exploration stages of their life where they want to know more about themselves and their careers. Our targeted user group has access to personality tests which are available in abundance on the internet. However, they're often very long, dreadful, and boring. They also produce complex results. There's also a lack of personality tests which use music as an indicator of personality, although it has been researched that music is a great indicator of someone's personality, interests, and their identity. We thus developed Personalify, which aims to meet the pain points of our user group. We made our application to have an element of comedy with appealing visuals and interaction. It is also simple and user-friendly. We also get the Spotify data from our users to get their personality based on their music tastes, providing an all-rounded self-exploration journey. Addressing these pain points means that our users are more likely to try out personality tests and also take away things that might not have been covered from other personality tests. With more than half of Singaporean graduates working in jobs unrelated to their degrees, this career quiz would help them to understand more about themselves at an earlier stage in life and pursue something that they're truly passionate about. Next, I'll be passing it on to Amanda, who will be talking about frameworks used in our projects.
Thank you, Shreya. For the aesthetics of our project, we gained inspiration from Spotify's desktop interface for two reasons. Firstly, we were on Spotify's minimalistic style, which helped to make our website user-friendly. Secondly, Spotify's nature was also relevant to our project's vision, which is to analyze our users' music personality. Personalify offers 30 various characters extracted from OpenPeeps, which is a hand-drawn illustration library that allows us to customize our characters. This adds to a personal touch to allow users to feel more connected and involved in our journey with us. Our prototype and cover images are edited and designed with the help of Figma, which is accessible from the link on our first slide. To make our website responsive, we primarily utilize Bootstrap's grid system and CSS at media row to vary the widths and various breakpoints. CSS's relative length units were also particularly effective and useful when styling responsive font sizes, widths, and heights. Our intuitive icons are adapted from Bootstrap and Font Awesome, while CSS animations are created using Animate.css and Vanilla CSS, which elevated the interactivity of our application. To further improve on the usability and user-friendliness, we pivoted our design and structure on the key features and functionalities of our application, such as the three-stage process of our music personality analysis, avoiding any unnecessary detail that would confuse users. As for JavaScript animations, Type.js is used in the loading pages to leverage on its fun and interactive typing animation. This simulates an actual conversation with our users, allowing us to connect with them. On our landing page, Choreographer-JS, a visualization library that provides for fancy and complex CSS coding animations, adds to a fun and unique experience. Vue.ci is an extensive system for rapid Vue.js development. It uses single-file components which enhances structure and flexibility of our project, akin to the divide and conquer strategy. This allows us to dive deeper into each component without cluttering our codes and hence our minds. For our quiz carousels, we use Viewable Slides, which is touch-ready, fully responsive, and compatible with our Vue.js framework. This enables us to cater to users of laptop and mobile devices. Chart.js is used to create interactive spider charts in our basic personality report. The charts use information we extract from users' Spotify accounts, like the average audio features. These charts help to depict our primary analysis of their music personality in a straightforward manner, which serves as our main aim in Personalify. Now, Yuki will be sharing how we store data, like the audio features.
Thank you, Amanda. Moving on to data storage for our application, we use Vuexstore and FIREBASE. We created a function called newConfig to decrease the number of configuration statements in the main code in index.js. The newConfig function requires parameters such as method, URL, and params. Params is an object with two key value pair, namely authentication and data. Authentication relates to the Spotify authentication and data relates to the putting and posting of data for FIREBASE REST API. We have another helper function called axiosWait to decrease the number of try-catch statements in the main code in index.js. Following that, we also have a default state function which returns the default object state. This includes data such as current date when we retrieve their Spotify tracks, if the user exists in the FIREBASE, if the user is logged in or not, the web domain, Spotify domain, FIREBASE domain, personality questions array, personality answers object, personality results string, career questions array, career answers object, and career results string. Also, we have Spotify user ID string, nickname string, chosen character ID, personality type string, chosen from the loading page, and Spotify related data such as num of tracks and total music features object. We use Vuex persisted state, namely by storing data via session storage, which is non-encrypted and cleared when the browser is closed. In the main code, we created a persisted state for persisted Vuexstore in the browser and commit the default state object with the respective key value pair data after we have retrieved the data from Spotify and user session from the using newConfig function using get methods. As you can observe from the slides, we use Vuex to store the session data of the user using the web application. This correlates to the data mentioned earlier that is stored in default object-state function. In the FIREBASE, we store quiz-related data such as career questions and answers, and personality questions and answers. In addition to that, we used a function to store user data which is updated, also known as put, from Vuex store into our real-time database. Essentially, data stored in user 1 and user 2 will be data from their sessions respectively. We also use patch to update any information in regards to the user. Next, Rena will be talking about the Spotify API.
Thank you, Yuki. Now moving on to the Spotify API. In order to gain access to the Spotify API, the application has to send a HTTP request through a client application that was set up through the Spotify developers website. Furthermore, we needed to choose an authorization flow that would suit our application. At the time, of the options that we could choose from, we decided to go with Spotify's implicit grant authorization flow, which will provide us with an access token with an expiry time of 30 minutes. To briefly describe the implicit grant flow within our application, when the user logs in, they are sent to Spotify's website with the requested authorization data URI component to help the request for authorization and such. When authorized by the user through Spotify, the user is then sent back to our application along with the access token, which then allows us to retrieve the user's Spotify ID as well as the audio features of the various tracks they have listened to over a set period of time, in which for our application we have set to 30 days. For our application, the 30 minutes access token was deemed more than enough to retrieve all the data necessary. Next, moving on to the X factors, a few of the factors have already been mentioned earlier. Amanda introduced the use of Vue CLI for the whole of our application, and Yuki introduced the use of Vuex, Vuex persistent state, and FIREBASE for our data storage. We have also used Vue Router, which was chosen as is the official router for Vue.js, which came packaged with the project when we chose to use Vue CLI, and we also chose to use it to develop a single-page application. As based on our research, we found that single-page applications tended to be faster and more responsive than traditional applications, as content is re-rendered in response to user actions without making various HTTP requests to the server to fetch new HTML. Instead, the single HTML file is initially sent to the client browser, while the JavaScript data, which is also sent as JSON data, is dynamically loaded onto the HTML page. We have also made use of some various other X factors which came pre-packaged with the Vue CLI when we created the project, such as Prettier.js, which is an opinionated JavaScript formatter that works to remove original styling and make code more consistent looking, which was what we were looking for when it came to writing code as a group and when we were writing code at different times. Babel was also used to convert IS216 code and newer JavaScript into older versions of JavaScript that are more backwards compatible with older browsers and runtime environments. ESLint was also pre-packaged with Prettier.js when we created our project using Vue CLI, and it is a static code analysis tool for identifying problematic patterns found in JavaScript code, used to define rules and solve errors together with Prettier.js. We have also used other libraries for JavaScript for animations and such as Choreographer.js and Typed.js in order to create typography animations to improve the look and feel of our website design. We have also used Chart.js in order to show the data of the audio features that we have retrieved from the Spotify API, as well as using the Vue 3 Composition API, as we felt that it would make our code a lot more aesthetically pleasing when working on the project.
As you scroll down on the starting page, the individual letters turn to form the word Personalify. Once we click on Login, we will be directed to Spotify's login page. After we have entered in our credentials, we will then get directed back to Personalify's webpage. We use Type.js to animate words being typed out. We can edit the name that we would like to be addressed by the web page. After we click on Confirm, we can choose our character. We replicate our buttons to look like those used in Spotify. We can shuffle or click Next to select our character. Here, we use passive-aggressive tone to engage our users like, "Just kidding, I don't care." Which one are you, introverted, extroverted, or ambivalent? Users will get directed to our homepage built to replicate Spotify's homepage design. Upon clicking on Basic Personality, we can see two radar charts, one for users' music traits and the other for their personality traits. These personality traits are derived from their music traits from the past 1 year. Upon clicking on Personality Quiz, users can answer 15 questions to determine their personality traits. These traits are derived from the Big 5 personalities, which includes agreeableness, conscientiousness, extroversion, neuroticism, and their openness to experience. The progress bar and the wave indicates that the user's journey is 1/3 completed. We use animate.css to show the fade in and fade out. Upon clicking on Career Quiz, users can also answer 15 questions to determine their employable traits and hence the work environment that is most suited for them. Upon clicking Submit, users can focus on the personality trait which they score the highest for and view their suitable career paths under the trait. Our About page consists of information about our music analysis technique, personality analysis technique, as well as our career analysis technique. We also included information about our team members. When users click on Logout, they will be directed back to the starting page.